my loyal and intuitive Cancer friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. In Cancer, you may find yourself this week hovering at the edge of something fully realized, yet feeling a subtle ache just beneath the calm surface. There's a quiet longing for completion or resolution, but it's tangled with a sense of uncertainty about what comes next. It's as if you've been carrying the weight of a chapter that should bring satisfaction, and yet the satisfaction itself feels just out of reach. You might notice yourself holding your breath at odd moments, wondering if now is the time to exhale. There's a fullness to your days, but that fullness is threaded with questions. Did you truly arrive, or are you still waiting for a sign that says it's safe to rest? Unspoken, perhaps, is a fear that closure could mean letting go of something that has defined you for a long time. In the quiet, the boundary between gratitude and exhaustion blurs. There's tenderness in that space, but also a tension, a sense of wanting to honor what is complete while sensing that something more is pressing to be seen. This week your heart is a vessel both full and expectant, carefully balancing relief with the apprehension of what comes after the finish line. The world appears in your reading as a gentle mirror, reflecting not only what you have completed but the vastness that follows. You feel the echoes of past efforts and all that you've endured to reach this point. There's pride, yes, but also a quiet vulnerability. Perhaps you're noticing a subtle pressure to show grace in closure, to look content and at peace, when inside the journey's end makes you feel exposed. It's as if you're standing on the last page of a story, reading the final words, aware that closing the book is itself an act of courage. Fulfillment under the surface is often complicated. You may sense the urge to look back, to trace the path that brought you here, hoping to find reassurance that it was all worthwhile. Yet alongside this reflection there is a gentle restlessness, a yearning for what new story might begin, even as you honor the one that's ending. Sometimes the world expects you to gather up all your pieces into a neat conclusion, but your heart knows that some parts will always linger, unfinished or unresolved. In the stillness, there's a temptation to hold onto the moment, to prolong the sense of being complete, as if fearing that moving forward might diminish what you've gained. You may find yourself both celebrating and questioning, both grounded and uncertain. This inner complexity is not a flaw but a sign of your depth, your capacity to feel fully. The world's energy this week is not about a triumph that erases all doubt, but about the quiet courage to allow for both closure and ambiguity. You stand in the fullness of what has been, even as you sense the delicate threads of what is possible next. From this place of fullness and subtle tension, the path ahead begins to reveal itself. The sense of having reached a significant milestone does not simply end with relief. It stirs fresh questions about where to go now. The satisfaction you feel feeds a deeper curiosity, but it also awakens a new kind of vulnerability. As you stand in the light of completion, shadows of self-doubt can flicker at the edges. The internal pressure to do justice to all you've accomplished may prompt careful, even hesitant steps forward. This week, you might notice a gentle friction between what you wish to release and what clings to you out of habit or comfort. This is the space where the next part of your journey forms, not all at once, but in the slow movement from reflection into action. The Eight of Swords marks this unfolding path with its quiet tension. Here, the pressures you feel are not always external, they often rise from within. You may become acutely aware of the limits you place upon yourself, sometimes out of caution, sometimes from old fears that linger even when circumstances have changed. The world around you might appear wide open, but your gaze keeps returning to the boundaries you've drawn, boundaries shaped by past hurts, by the stories you've told yourself to stay safe. This week, progress can feel like walking in a room where the windows are covered, the air thick with uncertainty. Each decision seems to carry extra weight, not because the choices are inherently risky, but because the consequences feel deeply personal. There's a tendency to second guess, to wonder if you're missing something obvious, or if moving forward means leaving behind a part of your own history. The pressure to get it exactly right can tie your hands, making even small steps feel monumental. The world moves around you, but your own momentum is slowed by invisible bonds. The doubts, the overthinking, the memories of times you wished you had chosen differently. Yet, even in this confined space, your intuition stirs. The friction is not punishment, but a signal that you care deeply about what comes next. These constraints, though uncomfortable, are not absolute. They invite you to notice where your mind creates obstacles that your heart may not recognize as real. In the quiet moments, you might catch a glimpse of possibility, a small opening in the pattern, a breath of air that reminds you the walls are not as solid as they seem. What becomes possible from here depends on your willingness to meet the moment as it is, not as you wish it to be. The potential for movement, for change, is alive in every hesitation and every question. If you choose to look at the limits not as punishments but as invitations to clarity, something within you begins to shift. The next phase does not demand certainty. It asks only for a gentle honesty, a readiness to see things as they are. In this space, the path forward is not forced but discovered, bit by bit, as you let go of needing every answer before taking the next step. The Ace of Swords rises at your horizon, offering not a promise but an invitation to clarity. Growth is not a sudden leap, but the gradual unfolding that happens when you allow truth to emerge, first as a whisper, then as a steady current. You may sense the possibility of a breakthrough, not because the world outside has changed, but because your perspective has begun to sharpen. The tangled knots of doubt and hesitation loosen as you let yourself name what you truly want and what you are ready to leave behind. There is courage in speaking honestly, even if only to yourself, about what is holding you back. The Ace of Swords does not erase the complexity of your feelings, but it brings a refreshing sense of focus. Thoughts that once swirled in confusion start to settle, making space for insight. This clarity is not cold or harsh, it is gentle, the kind that allows you to see both your strengths and your vulnerabilities without judgment. When you meet the week with conscious awareness, you find that new solutions and understandings appear almost quietly. The path ahead may not be easy, but it becomes visible, step by step, as you trust your own inner knowing. Growth here is not about striving or proving, but about allowing yourself to see and to be seen in your full complexity. The invitation is simple, to let your truth guide you even if it feels unfamiliar, and to trust that clarity will come not all at once, but in the small, honest moments you offer yourself each day. All three cards, the fullness of the world, the friction of the Eight of Swords, and the invitation of the Ace of Swords, move together in the quiet rhythm of your week. You begin from a place of deep accomplishment, holding both gratitude and a tender uncertainty about what's next. The path winds through familiar doubts, the kind that test your resolve and ask you to re-examine what freedom truly means. It is in the gentle pressure of the Eight of Swords that you notice where you hold yourself back, where old fears or stories still shape your sense of possibility. Yet, even as these limits feel real, they soften under the light of your honest attention. The Ace of Swords does not demand sweeping change, only a willingness to see things clearly. In this cycle, completion leads not to an ending, but to a deeper understanding of who you are, capable of honoring what has been, aware of what keeps you tethered, and open to new ways of seeing yourself. This week is not about dramatic transformation, but about the subtle shifts that come with self-recognition. You can trust that the fullness of your experience in all its complexity is enough. No part of you is wasted. Every feeling, every hesitation, every small step matters. Rest in the knowing that clarity will find you, even if it arrives quietly, and that the journey ahead is shaped by the gentle courage you already carry. Actionable insights for Cancer this week. Let yourself notice when your thoughts feel heavier than your heart. Try saying one honest thing aloud, even if it is only to yourself. If you feel stuck, give yourself permission to pause rather than push. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I am allowed to move at my own pace. Each feeling I have belongs to me. There is space for both doubt and hope. Little by little I see myself more clearly. In this moment I trust my own truth. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.